What's going on, people? Welcome to the match preview. It is West Ham time as we travel to the London Stadium. If you're traveling there like Lewis, hopefully bring your binoculars. Actually, I'm saying bring, I'm not going. Hopefully, if you do go, take your binoculars with you because you're going to need it, especially in that stadium. But I'm joined by T, Lou, and AJ here to look ahead to the game. A big tie after they beat us 2-0. As always, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And before we do get started, quick disclaimer. I'll be at this show live. This is London on Friday, 24th of January. You can scan the QR code to get your tickets here. £10 entry fee. I'll be there with lead judges, Dan Potts, Deji Spurs, and a few other content creators as well. It should be a good night out. So if you are free, make sure to scan the code. And also the link will be in the description below. Now that all of that is over.
So you getting famous off of this is what we're saying. That's what I'm talking about, man. This dude, he getting all the fame off of this, man.
He's eating, man. He's eating.
He gonna treat us like a boy band. He gonna treat us like a boy band. He gonna get his own podcast and just leave us.
I would like to state we were not invited. We were not put on the show.
No,
we weren't given any free entry. We weren't
Everyone's
given
busy. Everyone's
Nothing.
busy. If you don't want to
taking the whole cake. He's leaving crumbs.
If you don't want to come through. No one's
Nah, bro. You gonna Justin Timberlake us, bro?
Nah, Justin Timberlake. You know what? Okay, shall I tell you a funny thing? Don't laugh though. The other day, yeah, I went to.
How you tell us the same thing, baby? How you gonna tell us a funny thing?
Because others laughed at me for this. I asked a question. Does Timberland own the Timberland store? I don't know why. And then my friend said to me, bro, that's a question I asked to my mum at like 8 years old. Why are you asking this now?
No.
But apparently he doesn't own it. Apparently
It's not even spelled the same.
What?
It's not even spelled the same.
Lou, this is the Y all over again, mate. This is the Y all over.
Do you know what?
Is it not?
You need a cultural quiz. You're lacking these. You're slacking, bro.
Is it not?
No, it's Timbaland, as in the
It's
producer.
Timberland.
And then
Yeah.
Timbaland.
I've been alive to remember when there was all kind of weird theories about the tree and all the rest of it. Like,
Oh, what were the
It's a
trees?
few letters. I'm a few letters.
Yeah,
Timberland tree.
Timberland.
Yeah, the Timberland tree.
the Timberland tree represented racism
Slavery
and all
and
that.
hanging people.
Oh yeah. I saw that.
Around.
Yeah, because timber trees were strong enough to hold bodies.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, I bet you don't know about that one either, do you?
No, I do know about that one.
So now you want to be old enough. Now you want to be old enough.
No, that's not even old enough. Like I heard about that ages ago. I know.
But you haven't heard about the
Yeah.
All right, man.
I've never owned.
What are we talking about today?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're meant to talk about West Ham, but yeah, never owned a pair of Tims, anyways. But yeah, anyways, West Ham. How are we feeling after the Leicester game? I'll start off with VT. Good win away from home, 2-0, 6 games unbeaten. I did ask the guests the questions about, how they feel. And a lot of people said, you know what, we could go get a result against West Ham. How are you feeling after the Leicester game?
I mean, not even just after the Leicester game, but based on our body of work in the way matches this season, you have to be believing that we can go in and get a result. Go in and get a win. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't expect us to go in with anything else in mind. I mean, I think Glasner's leadership and his mindset has changed the way that we as fans look at these matches too. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many times when we would go on the road in the past with past managers whose names will not be said on this podcast.
Yeah, just leave in the past.
But they would always think, oh, hey, we'll be lucky if we get a point. Now we go into these matches like, no, we trying to go get the dub. Like, that's what it's about. So I just feel like that makes a huge difference for us going forward. So
yeah, it does. And I'll be honest, I don't know about you lot, but I never realized our away record is as good, Lou, as it has been. I know you've been to a few away games so far this season. But that is a massive positive to take into this game as well. 6 games unbeaten, 11 goals conceded away from home. What do you think it is, the difference between away versus at home? Because away from home, I mean, we're not really having... We picked up more points away from home than we have at home.
It's. I think it's been like prominent in quite a few seasons where we are set up to counter attack and be good in transitions. Whereas when a team comes in and sits, it happens to a lot of teams. When teams come in and sit in, it's much harder to break them down. And at the moment, we're lacking technicians, and Eze is not on great form, and we're not breaking the line. So games where the other team are stretched and we can get into spaces and play a bit more direct, that's where we have more joy. So take, for example, when we played Southampton, they're going to sit in a little bit more, or when Leicester came and we drew 2-2, or even West Ham when they beat us 2-0, they sat in and just said, yeah, break us down. So when we went to Villa, we done it to them. And so, yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I think that definitely does help. But AJ, Eze's been mentioned already against West Ham, but he's had goal contributions in his last 4 games. 4 goal contributions in his last 4 games. It doesn't feel like it. I'll be honest, based on the performances, but it's good. If you can still perform at the level he is right now and get goal contributions, that's what you want, ideally. Like, of course, you wanted to maybe have a bit more of an impact during the game, but it's a positive step, and that definitely is going to help us, especially if we can carry it forward to this game.
Yeah, I think he's definitely getting, he's contributing to games, but I think the problem I've got with the Eze element is it's body language. I don't know if it's a case of he does or doesn't want to be here. Maybe he is fatigued, like potentially a certain percentage of the squad. But at the end of the day, he's going to continue to make me look stupid, which I'll happily do if he's going to get a goal and assist every game, which he's done in the last 4 or 5 games for us. So I guess if he continues to do it that way and he's performing, then I can't really get too mad about it. But the body language I'm getting out of him is it's almost like a lack of effort. I feel like he's definitely got a few more gears in him. I just need to just see him push it a little bit more, because I guess the question then becomes: could he get more goals? Could he contribute more assists? Could he take the game, by the scruff of the neck and potentially move on from there, especially in an atmosphere like it's going to be on the weekend? I just want to see a little bit more from him. That's all I want. I know how quality he is. We all know how good he is. I just want him to start showing it a little bit more in terms of his output.
Yeah.
Can I chime in on this? Can I chime in on this? Because I've been thinking about this same thing too, AJ, and I've kind of found an analogy that I feel really works with Eze that, some people may be able to understand depending on what they do. But watching Eze play is like going fishing. And for anybody that has fishing experience, you understand that when you go out there and you get on the water, whether you're on the bank or on the boat, and you fish, patience has to be necessary. And you're out there over a long period of time. And say you spend 3-4 hours out there, those 3-4 hours aren't going to be consumed with action. They're not going to be consumed with good times. But you only need that one time, that catch that one fish, to get that one reel in for the entirety of the time to be worth it. And then there's sometimes when you get out there on the water and you just catching everything. Boom, 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 boom. I'm getting 3, I'm getting 4, I'm getting 5. And it happens, and it's great, and it's an amazing day. And there's sometimes when you don't get anything at all, and you think to yourself, man, today was a rough day. With a guy like Eze in a 90-minute football game, he may not look great for the entirety of the 90 minutes, but he only needs a few seconds to change the entire complexion of the match. He has moments of magic. He has this mercurial ability to change the face of the game within only a few minutes to seconds of a match. in comparison to the entirety of the match. So if we go an entire 90 minutes and Eze doesn't give us a goal contribution, we're thinking to ourselves, we need more from Ebbs. Ebbs not playing well enough. But then there may be a match where it's only a couple minutes where he shines bright and he gives us this lift that we need to win a match. And it's like, yo, he had a pretty decent match, but he could be doing more for us. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's kind of the feel I get with him. You know, I think we want him to perform more consistently over the 90 minutes. But we just got to be able to appreciate the fact that he's got 4 games in a row now, which is the longest streak he's had in the Premier League with goal contributions. And each time it's made a difference in us winning and losing a match.
Yeah, it has. It has. Look, I get what AJ's saying, and I get what you're saying as well, T. Because go on, AJ.
Wait, on that point, right? Everything you're saying, T, makes 100% sense, right? But let's just pretend for a minute he went to a bigger club in the summer. You can't afford to be doing that at that kind of level because you're under the what's the word? You're under scrutiny a lot more. So let's say, for example, he went to a Tottenham or an Arsenal or Man United or whatever club that was. If he's going to have that kind of body language, whether he does output a goal or an assist and stuff like that, he's going to be put under the microscope and be criticized a lot heavier and a lot more. That's the only sort of caveat I have to that point. You've got a very fair point what you said there, and it does make a lot of sense. But if you do that, we will put up with that, if that makes sense. I mean, it was almost very similar, almost to Zaha to an extent, where if he had a poor game or whatever, we wouldn't care because he's Wilfred Zaha for us. But in situations where you move a bit to the higher level, and you can even use Zaha in the same prime example, is the moment you don't do it or the moment you are not on job, you're going to be put under the scrutiny very, very quickly. And then, they're going to come for you very, very quickly. He can afford to do that at a club like Crystal Palace. If you go to a bigger club or go to a club that is pushing or trying to aim and achieve bigger and better things, he will not get away with that.
But is that why he's 27 years old and he's still with Crystal Palace? Because this fits him.
He's at his level.
Exactly. Like, is that, like I'm saying, could that possibly, and not only, there's also the caveat too, to go along with what you're saying, he goes to a better club, he's playing with better players. Therefore, the level of pressure, the level of scrutiny that he may be under to produce himself is dispersed amongst a more talented roster of players. So he probably has the ability to produce and play better because he doesn't have as much pressure or as many eyes on him in comparison to what it is right now with us.
Well, look at him with Elise compared to now. I do think when he's surrounded with better players, you get the best out of Eze.
Does, yeah, absolutely. That's a great point.
But yeah, I do understand that. But take Eze, for example. I thought he was ahead of Morgan Gibbs-White at one point, ahead of someone like Semenyo and all these players, and he has regressed this season.
But they got better. But those guys' teams got better.
Yes, but I'm a big Eze fan. There's, like I said, we can give the analogies, we can give the excuses saying he's got good output, game-turning moments. But I watched him yesterday, and his decision-making is awful. And there was a pass that Kamada made that was a 30-yard crossfield pass to Munoz. Lovely pass. Eze tried to make that pass 5 minutes before and absolutely shanked it off the pitch. He also done the exact same pass in the first half. So it's all right if you're a top player and the things that we expect him to do aren't coming off, as in like he's not cutting, he's going past 2 people and hitting it top corner. He might not be doing that. But your 5-yard passes are right, your 10-yard passes are right, your decision making's right, your pressing's right, your turnovers are good. I don't feel like he's hitting the basics to his ability.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I believe.
I do understand that part as well.
I feel like he has to find it in, whether it's a psychological thing, whether it's a physical thing, whether he's carrying a knock, whether psychologically he needs to, I don't know, there's lots of sports psychologists and understanding why you're not hitting your peak. But he has to find it within himself, and he has to look at himself and adapt his game, or he will get left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
that's a fair point, because some of the stuff that you've mentioned, it doesn't link to Elise. You don't need Elise there to do that kind of pass, for example. And the decision making, even yesterday in the first half, I noticed that it was kind of off. I don't know what it was, but he just wasn't passing to Mitchell when Mitchell was
off every game. It's been off every game.
I don't understand the thinking around it. Is it like a tactical thing? I'm not too sure. I don't understand it, but Mitchell's always open. It doesn't pass him. But moving on from Eze, because there are other positions that
I'd still start. By the way, I wouldn't drop it.
No.
Yeah, you don't drop
it. If Kamada carried on playing well and Kamada got into form, there would be, if Glasner said, do you know what, Kamada has played well, he deserves a start in that role, I wouldn't, me personally, I wouldn't hate it.
No, but then he's got 4 GA in the last 4 games. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm saying he should be taken out of the team. But if Glasner took him out and put Kamada in and said, you know what, Kamada's earned his start, I wouldn't be pissed off at it. I wouldn't be angry.
Yeah, I guess
I would understand it.
Whereas before he'll be undroppable, like Eze needs to start. But now there are conversations.
But we say that about Mitchell and other players. They need competition. Where's Eze's competition?
Well, it's meant to be France, I guess. He's injured. Well, who was it going into the season?
In that case, starts.
There you go. Like, it's comfortable. He's on $100,000 a week, and he plays in and out. He plays every week in the Premier League. What's he racked up? Probably nearly. How many appearances he had for us now?
A lot.
Over 100.
He's probably over 100.
Yeah. So he's an established Premier League player earning ridiculous money. Sometimes you get comfortable.
Yeah, you can 100%, and I say the same thing about Mitchell as well. Like, if you want Mitchell,
I think the Euros.
I
feel like the Euros might have damaged him a bit. Getting put left wing back and that summer, I don't know. He didn't come back the same player ever since he came back from that camp.
Let's see if we bring in Esse, which we'll quickly talk about transfers in a bit. After we'll talk about players and West Ham a bit more. We'll talk about transfers, but let's move on to the midfield, because in midfield, I think there's a genuine talking point here, and I'm not going to even beat around the bush. Should Doucoure start? Does Doucoure start?
Yes.
Lerma is out. Well, he went out with an illness. Let's say he's fit again and he's not feeling the bug or whatever he felt at the start of the game, which was a bit weird to me because I thought he picked up an injury. Does Doucoure still start ahead of him? He came on yesterday. I don't think he was like 10 out of 10, but still, I saw glimpses of the old Doucoure. And for me, he just needs to play consistently to get the best out of him. And I would start him. I would have started him against Leicester. I think Doucoure and Hughes, until Wharton comes back, should be the move. But does anyone disagree in regards to Doucoure starting against West Ham?
I think he's ready. I know we've been, or at least I've been concerned about, having such a big injury and then obviously kind of slowly, gradually getting him back into the squad. But based on the past few games, I think he's ready to at least start. Whether he gets 60 minutes, 70, 80 or the full 90 out of him, shows we do have the midfield depth in that position to potentially make changes if it doesn't quite pull off, i.e. maybe put Lerma, Devaney or whoever may be on the bench. I personally would start him against a club like West Ham, who can get quite physical in the midfield, and the midfield battle will be interesting. I think Doucoure is ready.
Yeah, I agree as well.
I think I said it on the ratings with Pat that I think they're trying to time Doucoure's full fitness with Wharton's. I don't think they want him when Wharton comes back, Doucoure to be like in full flow. So then you finally get those two together. And I think he's been doing it right, putting him in and taking him out, giving him 90, 70, 60. But yeah, Lerma won't be able to start on Saturday, I don't think, after being ill. He wouldn't recover in time. So it will be Doucoure Hughes, I think.
I mean, the thing about Doucoure for me is, outside of Adam Wharton, he's the only one that you can really consider to be press resistant. And he shows it as soon as he gets in the match. We have a level of composure and poise that happens when he's on the pitch in comparison to somebody like a Will Hughes or a Lerma, which for us means the world in going forward, creating opportunities, maintaining possession. Like, those are the things that we need from a midfield too, especially. I feel like the reason why I like the idea of bringing Lerma off of the bench is because Lerma gives us energy. He gives us great energy from the time that he touches the pitch. So as an impact sub in the midfield against tired legs, a guy like him who just never stops playing and who's really great in the air, that can really go and get you rugged opportunities. He's a great guy to bring in 60, 70 minutes on to really go out there and grind guys too. So if he is healthy, of course, going into Saturday, I would like Doucoure start, and then like we said, we're really bringing Doucoure along. He doesn't have to play the whole 90, 60, 75, whatever is that number that they decide upon. You got a guy that you can bring on in Lerma who's going to go, full on as soon as he gets out there, and he's going to give us a great lift, I believe. So
their midfield's very physical. Souček, Rodriguez, and Alvarez. Not much pace, but they're like a very
they're vulnerable defensively though, and I think the difference
midfielders.
I think when it comes down to it, there's a pros and cons with Doucoure starting over Lerma. I think Lerma offers more defensively. However, Lerma to me has been limited in terms of forward passes and looking, just having that composure that Doucoure has. So I think Doucoure offers a bit more and will help the likes of Sarr and Eze get on the ball more often. So for that reason, I think there's a risk to it, even in set pieces. Lerma is very good in the air. And we've been good in set pieces, so that'll be a miss. By saying that, we still scored from a set piece yesterday without Lerma being on the pitch, albeit it was in a corner. But yeah, I think we need to take those risks, and I would like to see Doucoure start because I do think he offers a bit more offensively, which at times we do need during games, especially we saw it in the first 20 minutes of yesterday's game. Well, the first half was it was a joke. Yeah. It was it was terrible.
I think West Ham's right-hand side will be their most dangerous. Wan-Bissaka and Kudus, especially with Eze not really loving tracking back. And Wan-Bissaka has been in good form going forward. I think he's got a couple of goals and assists. Kudus is probably the best dribbler in the league. I think he's got the most completed dribbles. He's very, very good on the ball. So Mitchell might be pushed quite far back.
I was just going to quickly mention another player, Richards. I think we all agree that Richards is going to start against West Ham. Of course, Chalobah's gone now, so there's not really much to talk about there unless someone wants to chip in. Because I do want to move on to West Ham and some of their threats. They've got Graham Potter. It's different. It's unfortunate for us that Lopetegui had to leave at the time he did, because I would have liked to face them again with Lopetegui. But as you've mentioned, Lou, they've got threats. However, they've also got injuries. I've done opposition preview with Dan Lawless from West Ham Fan TV and Lawless Live. That should be out tomorrow, people. Check that out. But he's not as confident, and normally he has chest. And the reason why he's not is because they've got full crew injured. Antonio, of course, unfortunate injury, speed of recovery to him. Somerville shouldn't be available as well. The main two threats to stop is literally, with Bowen being out too, is you got Paqueta and you got Kudus. So there's only two players only two players. But
Wan-Bissaka as well.
Wan-Bissaka as well, yes.
Yeah.
But
he had a nice assist in their last game.
And he's got 2 or 3 goals this season as well.
Yeah, at wing back, I guess.
But who's their striker? Who did they start as striker in their last match?
I'm gonna check it out now.
Paqueta.
Was it Paqueta? Okay.
So Fabianski in goal, Wan-Bissaka right back, Mavropanos, Kilman, Emerson, Alvarez, Rodriguez holding, Kudus right, Souček supporting Paqueta with Soler on the left.
Yeah, because Kudus was like a 10. Kudus was playing like in a 10.
Yeah, it was on the right.
Souček was playing.
Yeah. Isn't Danny Ings the only recognised striker to go left?
He came on for Kudus. But I think it's going to be a game of opposite sides, because I think West Ham's left-hand side is quite poor. Emerson's not very good defensively. Soler's not flying with good. Yes, Kilman's on the left centre-back. Soler playing left wing against Sarr and Munoz. That's our stronger side, but then their side as well, their right side could cause us a lot of issues. It's not so much Mitchell not being able to defend Kudus. It's the Wan-Bissaka pushing forward and Eze not wanting to track him. Eze's not going to want to do that all game. So Doucoure is going to have to do that shift across a lot. Then everyone's going to have to shift over. It's going to have to be a quite tight defensive unit. Like he said in his post-match on TNT, they cannot play how they play against Leicester on Saturday. Like, they'll lose.
Yeah. Also, they weren't too great against Fulham. I mean, the XG for Fulham, even though they beat them 3-2, Fulham had an XG of 1.9 and they had 0.95, end up scoring 3 goals. I think basically Fulham gifted
That's because they gifted them. Yeah, they
Two
gifted them
goals.
2 of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2 goals. Exactly. I think
goals.
defensively they can still be got at. And they have struggled defensively all season. Mavropanos is a player that I'm looking at, which Mateta should
Kilman.
be able to target.
Kilman's not good either.
Kilman's
Kilman's
big for
hasn't
nothing,
been that
mate.
great either.
He's
But
doing
yeah,
it.
Hey, he took the piss out of us when we played him at home, though. Do you remember when he dribbled through our whole team?
oh, Kilman.
Oh my
Yeah, when they
God.
scored a goal. That's what I'm saying. This Palace side is different to that side.
Yeah, I know.
surely you can't allow any of that to happen.
Yeah.
That was in the second half. I remember that game, man. That game was, I don't know how I lost that game.
Kamada Remontada.
What was that?
Kamada Remontada. He's gonna.
Hey, Kamada was one of the reasons why we lost that game when he came on in midfield.
And Wan-Bissaka went battering ram on him, just
it was crazy. But saying that our left hand side, their right hand side is going to be a proper battle. How's Eze going to do against Wan-Bissaka? Is Eze going to track Wan-Bissaka? Can Mitchell handle Kudus? There's so many question marks on the left hand side. I think for us down the right hand side with Emerson and Soler being there, and Rodriguez may start there in midfield as well.
I don't really rate him either.
There should be a bit more of a gap. So let's see if Sarr can use his pace and he can get in behind. But just quickly before we do wrap up and go score predictions, we haven't really done that much Palace news. Not because there wasn't anything. I don't know, like let's say we missed out on stuff. That's not the case. There hasn't been much at all.
Hasn't been much. Yep.
Are we concerned about SA left wing back?
I just don't understand what's taking so long with the SA stuff. Like that's the thing that I don't like. I'm not saying I'm necessarily quote unquote worried about it, but it's just it shouldn't take this long.
I think the exact same thing happened last year. The Wharton one dragged out, and the Munoz one dragged out because the Genk wanted a higher fee. It's just I think it's just the negotiations of January. I think everyone wants them in an ASAP. I'm guessing once they get the West Ham game, they got a full week. So I think it's only panic stations if they're not in before the game after West Ham.
Yeah, against Brentford, I think.
I'm concerned and I'm frustrated, to be fair. You know, the manager's laid out, he wants 2 players. We know exactly what 2 players. We identified those 2 players. It looked like we were getting him for those 2 players. And then as soon as these clubs turn around and said the money and the fees they wanted, all of a sudden it's like, oh, hang on, maybe not. And all of a sudden everything's gone quiet.
Slavia are back next week.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter though, Lou. I know you said that a few times, but people saying that Tottenham right now.
No, but that's when you can force a move. You can't force a move when there's no games. So you can't be like, I don't want to. I'm not in the right state of mind to play. That's what they do, though.
I'm going to be a bit objective to that because Munoz forced a move last January. Like he showed his hand. So
Munoz wasn't as hyped up as Juve. And
I mean, they were playing. They didn't have no break in Belgium, though. They were playing too.
They were playing.
Let's be honest, they're not asking for astronomical money here compared to what the level
they're
is.
For like 20 million for a 19.
Somebody said they wanted like 25 million euros for that dude.
Which I don't believe it. I don't think that's entirely correct. But anyway, I just think if it's not Juve, go for another left back. He's not the only left back in the world. You see what I'm saying? And the SA thing, he's been just sitting there from the 3rd of January, the 2nd of January. What's today's date? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So
16.
Maybe that's just me. Yeah. That's just how I'm feeling towards it. I just feel
we all want it. We all want it. We all want the signings. It's just like, what can you do in it?
I just do.
What can you do? Pay up. That's what you can do.
This ain't the manager to be playing games with.
I think the SA move was going to happen, though. The SA move was going to happen because, like, Millwall just signed Aaron Connolly. Like,
did they actually sign him?
Yeah, they did.
Today.
I think he's to replace Bradshaw. They just
I'm saying. I mean, I just think that they're moving away from they're showing that they're moving away.
No one. It's like take the whole Louis Barry thing. There needs to be sometimes a domino effect of players. Mm-hmm. So like Millwall said they wanted Louis Barry still hasn't gone anywhere.
They probably can't make that move until they get the money from us.
But that's what I mean. Sometimes it takes so like the Crava, I can never pronounce his name. The Napoli guy that's gone to PSG. that's a
No,
domino effect. Because then Garnacho can go to United and this and that. Sometimes it just takes a domino effect to come in.
Yeah.
Listen, I want signings as much as anyone else, and do you know what I mean? It's a frustration. You do want to be like, where are they? Do you know what I mean? Refreshing every time Palace tweet, you're like,
exactly. Just thinking it's an
I need
it's a happy birthday to somebody that played for the club.
Yeah, I need a happy birthday to an under 18 academy player. I don't care now. I don't care.
I didn't turn on notifications to see that, man. Happy birthday.
I need the dopamine hit.
Happy birthday to Tim, the janitor at Copper's Cove. Are you kidding me?
But
we got the janitor though. We got the janitor.
With Eze, there are concerns in terms of, I understand why AJ would be frustrated because he wasn't included in the Millwall squad. When you're not included in the Millwall squad, we're talking about, all right, cool, like that's it. It should be done deal. We're going towards.
The manager said the deal is getting done with Palace. Like the manager, how often does a manager come out and say, he's going there?
Listen,
it's obvious that team to team is done.
No, wait. Yeah. Hypothetically, right? What are we saying? Saturday comes around, SA's back in the Millwall squad. Are you not ready for the meltdown?
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Oh, and I want a brace.
If that happens, I'm not getting back on media for
you want to be finished.
I'm going to Blue Sky. I'm going to Blue Sky.
Yeah,
I'm telling you now.
Catch you on Blue Sky.
I lose my mind.
But yeah,
the live reaction.
Live reaction from Blue Sky. Catch us there.
That's gonna be a 2.5 hour reaction show.
I will lose my mind.
Reaction.
Did you see West Ham are selling their Brazilian youngster that they've paid 20 million for as well?
Oh, the Luis Guilherme.
Yeah.
He's only been there like 4 months?
7 months. Yeah, 7 months or something.
That's crazy.
Well, let's see with France.
Brazilians, man.
With France, and he comes out good because it's been a long wait.
2026.
Anyways.
He's still on track, boys. He's still on track. He'll be ready by March. Don't worry.
I just want SA to be done and dusted. I'll be honest, because what you mentioned, AJ, is a good point. I never thought about that, but if he's in the squad on Saturday,
Jesus Christ!
And it's not because when a manager doesn't include a player in the squad, it's not because there's negotiations.
They're at home to hold.
Because it's done.
It's like it should be a done deal. Yeah. It should be a done deal. Like that is the reason why.
Team to team is done. Like as far as Millwall's concerned, it's probably done. Like they've got the team side of it taken care of. The issue at hand is probably what we're hearing about is the fact that we can't get the negotiation finished between the player and the team because of different terms and things.
And that's the problem. It's like how long is this going to drag on for?
As far as Millwall's concerned, like he's gone.
We're not gonna have him for this game. Hopefully against Brentford, he should be announced because if he's not, and if he's included in the Millwall squad in the weekend, then that's not gonna. It's not gonna be nice.
It's not gonna be good.
That's what was the dude that went to West Ham? That shot his video with us. What was the kid's name?
Flynn Downs.
Oh, Downs.
That'll be Flynn Downs.
Flynn Downs.
That'll be Flynn Downs.
Afford that, man.
Flynn Downs bad.
That was in the summer. We can't afford that now. That was in the summer, for example, Flynn Downs situation. This is
Flynn Downs bad.
Halfway through Jan. We need to sign him. So
my man shot the video with us
sometime soon. But let's talk about score predictions then. Quickly. For me, I'm gonna go for 2-1 Palace. Even though a part of me saying 1-0, like I can see a draw because they haven't had back-to-back wins so far this season. We haven't in the league as well. And if we beat them, we'll go above them. So I just see it being a draw, 1-1. But I'm gonna go back the boys anyways. Let's see if they can prove me wrong, saying 2-1. I'm gonna stick with 2-1 Palace. T.
New manager bounce sees them score 2.
Well,
sees us score 3. I'm going
3-2 again. 3-2 Palace.
3-2 Palace.
Oh, very rarely do we get 2 wins in a row. So I'm gonna go 2-2.
It's decent. Take a point. I just want us to get a win, AJ. I just
you take a point.
Back win.
We're getting a win. It's gonna be
Dub Nation.
It's going to be 2-1 Palace. I don't believe in new manager bounce. I don't think that's even a thing.
Well, Villa's kind of proved that wrong. I think with Everton.
There's data that represents that. There's no it doesn't actually mean anything. You might get a slight bump in results, but
yeah. Look at Villa. Villa's faced Everton and West Ham. They beat them both.
New manager doesn't exist. XG is woke nonsense, bro. Just
win.
not for me.
Just win by any means.
Woke,
Win by any
woke
means.
nonsense.
Woke nonsense, bro. I'm not.
And
having
start the game strong. Start the game strong as well. Don't sleep in the first half. Try to be footballers in the first half because Glasner was pissed off. He was really pissed off against Leicester, and he said after the game as well, like talks were had during halftime, not about tactics but intensity. So let's see what happens, people. Let us know your score predictions in the comment section down below. That's it from us, and until next time, up the Palace.